I don't think my childhood or the way I was raised impacted my child-free stance too much, because ever since I was a literal child, and I mean young, like in first grade, I was averse to the idea of parenthood. I didn't understand the appeal, I never did. I always felt it in my core, and never imagined raising children in my future. When we would play house at recess, I was viscerally against the idea of being the mother. I would always pretend to be the child or the family dog. However, I was very lucky to have parents who were always supportive of me in my decisions, whether it be career, interests, fashion, and so on. I imagine that not being indoctrinated with natalist cult beliefs helped my freedom thrive. My parents were only slightly bingo-y when I was younger, saying things like, "You might change your mind when you're older," and so on. As I grew into the teenhood, it got less bingo-y. As I said, they were always accepting of how I wanted to live and be, so I think their bingos were more out of a place of, "Things can happen, we'll tell you that, but you can do this too, and that's okay," rather than, "Foolish girl, children are your purpose, and you're just ignorant and don't know better." I've always been very firm on my child-free stance in relationships, and always bring it up to make sure my partner isn't going to flip on me years down the line. I've been pretty chill with dating, but I have had the not sure if I want kids in the future, I could go either way partner experience in the past. And personally, I don't believe in marriage. I never did, I never wanted it. It's the same as my child-free nature. Ever since I was a kid, I didn't want to get married either. I'm also lucky not to have felt a lot of pressure from friends and coworkers, but I am still quite young, so maybe I'm not at the age where it gets super bad yet. The only experience I can remember is a woman with fertility issues who vomited at the fact I told her I wanted to be sterilized when she asked me about having kids. She then told me it hurt her that someone with the opportunity and luck to bear a child didn't want to and would throw it away. I didn't even know she had fertility issues. I've never had a motherly instinct, never felt any parental impulse, and I am already sterilized. I am very fortunate to have had a bilateral salpingectomy a few weeks ago at the beginning of the month. It thankfully is still an option, but as I am still in the US, I imagine the government will try to crack down on reproductive health care soon, maybe even banning sterilizations. I wouldn't be surprised. I never felt any regrets regarding this decision. I have forced myself to dwell on parenthood a lot, trying to imagine myself in the position, wondering why I have no desire for it. I would try to imagine scenarios with a child. After imagining the most idyllic future scenarios of a child with my partner, the sudden impulse thought of, maybe I do want them, went through my head for a day or two. However, that went away really quickly. Like I said, my whole life, I never wanted kids. It was a fleeting idea I believe tried to get in my mind because of the natalism everywhere in my country. I think the fact that natalist culture has been spreading everywhere and making us child-free feel like an outcast was attempting to wiggle its way into my head, especially leading up to my surgery. But I don't regret my surgery at all. I don't desire pregnancy. I'm also tocophobic. And child rearing, and getting the B-salp actually made me feel comfortable in my own body, happy in my own body. I believe it actually made me experience gender euphoria. What frustrates me is people turning up their noses at people for being child-free. We're just being ourselves and living the way we want. We aren't hurting anyone. People should be accepting of others' lifestyles. I don't like how many try to get us to change, judge us, and say stupid things that don't even make sense, like, "You're selfish." Also, there is a stereotype about child-free people that we're callous or will change our minds, or that we're childless rather than child-free. Emphasis on the free for us. We chose this. Advice I would give someone facing a breakup over this? You will be a million times happier loving yourself in a lifestyle you love. Don't hold back. Don't let someone pull you into a life you hate. You'll be miserable and regret it because that isn't your true desire. Live life how you want, not for other people. I know love and breakups hurt, but entering a life against your values will hurt way more. I get to live my life the way I want, doing things for me, making choices for me, surrounded by things I love, and I don't need to change any of that. And I don't need to worry about the responsibility of protecting an inexperienced human's life and raising a human. That seems like having to carry around a fragile egg with me constantly, and ensuring it doesn't crack or break.